Hello, I'm Ingrid Cockhren. I am the Regional Community Facilitator for the Midwest and Tennessee with ACES Connection. I'm here to talk about our Growing Resilient Communities framework and how you can use this framework to either start or maintain your local ACES initiative. So, our framework has five tenets. As you can see here, we have educate, which is really focused on educating your community about the adverse childhood experiences study and how childhood trauma is impacting your community members, and how it is important to educate the public about this study and about resilience as a means of promoting the well-being of your community. And then we have celebrate, which is probably the tenant that I enjoy the most, which is really bringing your community together to celebrate your ACEs initiatives wins, to celebrate the community as a whole. And so that looks like telling your story, talking about your members and why it's important to you to raise awareness of this study. It looks like hosting events like film fairs and really just bringing the community together as a way, again, to promote the well being of your community. And then we have Activate. And so Activate is really about once we have an educated community when it comes to adverse childhood experiences, now we are looking for that high level change. We want to activate our community members so that we can have organizations who are trauma informed, and we can develop policy that can again promote the well being of your community. Next is engage. When we look at engage, it really is about now that your community is educated, let's see how we can work together to address childhood trauma in our communities. And so you want people to join your ACEs movement. You want people to join your initiative. And you also want to make sure that your local government is involved and educated. Again, this really connects with Activate because as local governments are educated, then they are able to create and develop policies that will also promote the well being of your communities. And then last but not least is Aggregate, which is the use of data to track progress and strategize. And that is actually what I'm here to talk about today. When we look at Aggregate, we really have a dual focus. It is tracking progress. Um, when we track progress using data, we are first documenting how well we are doing. And then, of course, that allows us to strategize. What is the data telling us? How can we use this data to move forward? Are we accomplishing our goals? Do we need to adapt? Do we need to pivot? And so data can be very integral to an ACEs initiative and especially when we think about funding. So when we have the proof that the efforts that we are putting forth are actually linked to progress in our communities, then we can get funding. We can tell our ACEs story. We can tell the story of our initiative, and then we can strategize about how we move forward as an ACEs initiative. One way that we should use data and strategize is really going to be around diversity, equity, and inclusion within the ACEs movements. As you know, ACEs science is a social justice issue. And so when we look at how we can ensure that all of our community is getting the information around the adverse childhood experiences study and that we raise awareness across the entirety of our community, then we have to understand that we need to be strategic. And so um, ACEs Connection has an inclusion tool. And this tool is really a spreadsheet that allows us to know who we have at the table and who's missing from the table, what voices are not being heard when it comes to your ACEs initiative. And this is important because it ensures that you are closing the gaps that may be present in your community around health disparity, around complex trauma, which is more likely to occur in communities of color and communities that are impacted by poverty. And so you want to make sure that you are not just interacting with certain parts of your community that may be easy to interact with, like schools or um, other low hanging fruit like large nonprofits, but that you are also digging a little deeper and being inclusive when it comes to the different types of communities, the different types of demographics that are present in your community. So, as you can see here, we have the inclusion tool that is highlighting the different sectors and subsectors. Are you reaching out to businesses? Are you reaching out to childcare centers? Are you including the military, emergency responders? And so there's a lot of different organizations and sectors out there. Are you being inclusive so that you are making sure that you're spreading your message around childhood trauma and resilience to all sectors? But then we also have an equity filter. And so what this means is there are populations who traditionally have not had a seat at the table. And in these populations, you will often find disparities around health as well. And so when we are looking at the equity filter, we want to make sure that we're reaching out to people in all different facets of our community, especially around race, religion, citizenship status, and especially right where it says systems trauma, those who have experience, lived experience with the different systems that are present in your community and have had a hard time of it, like the child welfare system or domestic violence victims who have had a negative experiences with law enforcement. And so you want to make sure that all people are at the table and all experiences are considered when you are forming your steering committee, when you are reaching out to different people in the community for education, and for any of the five tenets that we've talked about today in the Growing Resilient Communities framework. And then, as you can see here, we want to even have a deeper dive. You know, you want to invite everyone to the table as well. So, mostly I've been talking about outward facing, so who to reach out to and raise awareness. But then also within your organization, your steering committees, your leadership in your ACEs initiative, are you ensuring that you have a diverse group um, that is able to lend voices and have a perspective that you may not have been aware of when you're thinking about addressing the well-being of your entire community? This tool, if you are interested, please reach out to your community facilitator for your region for more information about this tool or to get this tool. And I'm going to hand it over to Samantha to talk more about our data services.
Thanks, Ingrid. I'm Samantha Sangenito, and I created a number of our tools at ACES Connection. And the tool I'm going to present today is the Presentations Tracker. The tracker really allows you to aggregate easily. How the tracker works is it allows a community to log all of the ACES Science presentations and trainings that have happened within your geographic area. It also allows you to track which sectors have received this information. So it can show you that you've done a lot of success, perhaps in the healthcare field with your ACES Science presentations, but perhaps you have a little bit more work to do in showing ACES Science to the education sector. The tool was really born out of the principle that what gets measured gets done. Uh, Here at ACES Connection, we believe that if you're able to keep tabs on your progress, you're more likely to end up with more success. And we also believe that information is gold, that tracking your sectors and numbers can help you show your progress to others as well, and may even help you secure funding. Having accurate and timely data that can easily explain to funders how well you've done within your community to spread this information and highlights also where you still have to go can help them understand how their money can be put to work in your community. And our tools at ACES Connection are always growing. For example, in California, we've partnered with Essentials for Childhood and Kids Data to make widgets available for all of the communities in California that can give these communities access to ACES Science data specific to their geographic region. And now I'll turn it over to Jane Stevens.
My name is Jane Stevens. I'm founder and publisher of ACES Connection. Thank you for checking out our guidelines and tools for growing resilient communities. And when you're ready, take a look at the ACES Connection Cooperative of Communities. The Cooperative of Communities is for ACES initiatives that are ready for more advanced tools and services. This includes tools to help your initiative measure progress, virtual pop-up think tanks, and diversity, equity, and inclusion coaching. If you want more information, contact your ACES Connection Regional Community Facilitator. You can find them on the homepage of ACES Connection. We are happy to answer any questions you might have, and we appreciate your interest in all that we do. Please take care of yourself and have a peaceful day.